succeeded to my wildest expectations. When I was last on with you, when was it, about 3 weeks ago or so, I think we both agreed that it might be a challenge for him simply to just get out of the group stage. And even my most optimistic thoughts were that they could maybe get past England or France in the quarter-final, and then they'd obviously meet Germany in the semi-final, and I couldn't really see a way that they could beat Germany, because, I mean, even just taking all the pre-tournament Calcio Scomese controversy, even taking that out of the equation, I think most people just thought that Italy had less individual talent than all the other the nations that they'd be competing against in this tournament. I put a bet on them at the start of the tournament. They were 14-1. I think they were the joint fifth favourites behind Spain and Germany, behind the Netherlands and France. So it's been really, really impressive. I mean, it was nervy, obviously, in the group stage against Ireland. It could have, if Buffon hadn't made that save from Keith Andrews. I mean, there's a few ifs and buts. They could have, if Spain and Croatia had played at that 2-2 draw, then the campaign could have ended there. But went on comprehensively, outplayed England. I can't remember the last time any Italian side outplayed a fellow major power in the international scene to that extent. And then the other night against Germany, it was nervy at the end, obviously, but before that they could have, if they'd taken their chances, if Di Natale and Marchese had taken their chances, they could have won 4 or 5 wins. It's remarkable just simply to have got to this stage, I think, considering the pre-tournament expectations, and to have got there playing this style of football. It's not been as conservative as people expected. They've went out and taken an initiative from the early stages in games. There was an issue where they seemed to be kind of subconsciously lapsing into an old mindset in the first couple of group games and trying to sit on 1-0 leads, but I don't think that was what Prandelli wanted to see. And as the tournaments went on, they've became more and more effective going forward and started to convert their chances. So yeah, it's been incredible. I would have to say the one that springs out at me is Bonucci, Leonardo Bonucci. Obviously he came in, he's a bit like Crescito, had a little bit of a doubt cast over him just before the tournament because of supposed involvement in the betting scandal, although he wasn't excluded from the squad. Came in the first game, played in the back three, I think mainly due to Barzali's injury, but I think he played very well in the first 2 group games. He then lost his place when Barzali returned to fitness against Ireland, but came off the bench when Chiellini was injured, played very well again, and he's just went from strength to strength as the tournaments went on. He's been good coming out of the ball with defence, coming out of the defence with the ball, which has always been a trait of his, but more importantly, in the defending side of things, he's been very, very solid. I think Balzaretti and Abate as well, ever since they came in the Ireland game, they've both been excellent. Balzaretti in particular, the other night, playing at right back, I can't remember him playing that position for about 5 years or so, but he sort of flung himself in the ways of shots and crosses so many times, made so many decisive interventions. I think he's had an excellent tournament, and you'd have to say Montalivo as well, even though there was a lot of scepticism about him playing in such an advanced role behind the strikers. He's adapted to it, did very well against England, and once again the other night against Germany, obviously set up Balotelli's goal with that long ball over the top. So those, I'd say they've stuck out. Cassano as well, although he's been a bit patchy at times, I wouldn't say he's been at the very best form that he can produce, but in the key moments he has made a few decisive contributions. Obviously that cross to provide Balotelli's first goal against Germany the other night. I think it will be a slight concern, yeah. I was looking at some statistics earlier on. Apparently Italy have had 98 shots. which is more than anyone else in the tournament. Even before Thursday night's game, they'd had more shots than anyone else in the tournament, but they'd scored, before the 2 goals they scored against Germany, I think they were about the 7th. Actually, seven other nations had scored more goals than them, including Greece. So it has been an issue. If they'd even been a little bit more clinical with their chances, I think they would have beaten Croatia. They would have beaten Ireland by a bigger margin, and they would have beaten England without the need for the extra time and penalties. Another night, obviously there was that very nervy finale. We saw how irate Buffon was at the end because they risked throwing it all away, because Marchisio and Di Natale and a couple others wasted really presentable opportunities. So it is a slight worry. Obviously now you've got Balotelli, took his 2 goals the other night brilliantly, so you would hope that he would be in similar form on Sunday. But yeah, it will be a concern because I imagine it's something they've been working on throughout the tournament, but it's not a problem they've managed to resolve as yet. Well, I'm optimistic. I think the way that they've played so far, there's every reason for optimism. The Spanish as well, I think, have only really been exceptional in one game in the tournament, and that was against Ireland, the 4-0. So, and the Irish had a dreadful tournament, so I don't know how much you can take from that. Thought they only really came onto a game against Portugal during extra time, and Italy have already proved in the first game of the tournament, the 1-1 draw, and also in the friendly they played against them last year, that they do know how to pose problems for them. It'll be interesting. A lot of people suggesting that they might revert to the 3-5-2 formation, although I would say their best performances in the tournament have came with a 4-3-1-2, so maybe best to stick to that. But yeah, as I say, I think there's every reason for optimism at this stage. I would say the Spanish, their main attribute at the moment is, as good as they are on the ball, is probably their defence. So it could be tight, it could be extra time. My prediction would probably be Italy to win it on penalties.